So, today we're going to talk about two really powerful warnings about the health of our planet. One is this famous symbol, right? A metaphor for how close we are to total disaster. And the other, well, the other is a disaster that's already happening. Okay, let's get into it.
All right, it all starts with just a number 85. That's it, no context, nothing. What on earth could a number that small mean on a global scale?
And that's the context 85 seconds to midnight. I know it sounds like it's straight out of a movie, but it's actually a scientific assessment of where we stand as a planet.
Okay, but what does that even mean, right? How can you possibly measure the risk to all of humanity in seconds? That's the first thing we're going to unpack.
This brings us right to our first topic 85 seconds to midnight, and what this whole doomsday clock thing is all about.
So, first things first, the doomsday clock isn't a real clock ticking away in a basement somewhere. It's this powerful metaphor. And get this, it was created way back in 1947 by the same scientists who had worked on the atomic bomb. They knew the danger they had unleashed, so they created this clock as a way to show the world how close we are to destroying ourselves.
And this is where you really get some perspective. Just look at these times. Back in 1953, at the absolute height of the Cold War, we were at 2 minutes to midnight. Pretty scary. But then, when the Cold War ended in 1991, there was this huge sigh of relief, and they wound the clock all the way back to 17 minutes. But look where we are now. 85 seconds? That is the closest to midnight it has ever been. Ever!
So that's the big question, isn't it? Why? What's going on that's pushing those hands so dangerously close to midnight? Let's look at what's driving this.
Well, the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists points to a few huge threats. You've got these expiring nuclear arms treaties, which is terrifying, the completely unchecked rise of generative AI and its potential for chaos, and of course, the ongoing failure to take real action on climate change. And that last one, this unprecedented pressure on the natural world, that's exactly where we're going to focus next.
See, that pressure on the natural world isn't just some vague concept. Scientists have a name for it, the sixth mass extinction. It's a biodiversity crisis, and it's happening right now.
The formal name for it is the Holocene extinction. And Earth has had 5 other mass extinctions in its history. We're talking asteroids, supervolcanoes, that kind of thing. This one is totally different. It's the only one caused entirely by one species, us. And it's affecting everything, everywhere. To really wrap your head around the scale of this, I want you to look at another number. 100 to 1,000 times. What do you think that represents?
It's the current rate of extinction compared to the natural background rate, what would be happening without us. And this chart just says it all. If you think of the normal rate as a baseline of just 1, what we're seeing now is 100 to 1,000 times higher. This is not a natural cycle. This is an off-the-charts acceleration.
And the consequence of that insane rate, well, according to a huge UN report, an estimated 1 million species are now at risk of extinction. Many of them could be gone within just a few decades. Let that sink in for a second. 1 million.
And it's not just about species completely disappearing. It's also about the incredible drop in their populations. The World Wildlife Fund found that since 1970, which really isn't that long ago, the average global population of vertebrates like mammals, birds, fish, and reptiles has fallen by 68%, almost 2/3 gone in just over 50 years. Okay, so we've seen the what, an extinction rate that's through the roof. Now let's get into the why. What exactly are we doing to cause all this? That big UN report actually ranks the drivers for us. And the number one cause, believe it or not, is how we use land and sea, mostly for farming. Number 2 is direct exploitation, things like hunting and overfishing. And then at number 3, you find climate change. I think that's so important. As massive as climate change is, habitat loss from agriculture has actually been even more destructive so far. Pollution and invasive species round out the top 5. All this data can be a little hard to process, but this quote from the head of that UN group, Anne Largaderi, just cuts right through it all. She says, "We are currently in a systematic manner exterminating all non-human living beings." Wow, she didn't say accidentally. She said systematically. And if you want to see what systematic looks like, just look at our food system. A full quarter of the planet's ice-free land is used for nothing but cattle grazing. And get this, 60% of all biodiversity loss is driven by growing crops, not for humans, but to feed farm animals. There's a direct and massive line from what we eat to the destruction of habitats around the world.
So this brings us right back to the beginning. We've got the symbolic warning of the doomsday clock and the devastating reality of the extinction crisis. So, is there anything we can do? Can we actually turn back the clock?
The creators of the Doomsday Clock are very clear about this. It's not meant to just inspire fear. As their CEO, Alexandra Bell, puts it, the clock is a metaphor for our danger, sure, but it's also a call to action. It's a warning sign meant to get us to change course, not a prediction of a future that's set in stone.
So what does that action look like? Well, scientists have outlined a pretty clear path. It includes things like the 30 by 30 goal, which is to protect 30% of our land and oceans by 2030. It means a big global shift toward more sustainable plant-based diets to take the pressure off. And it means tackling overconsumption and cutting pollution. These aren't just ideas, they're concrete, necessary steps.
And that really leaves us with this final thought. The doomsday clock, as powerful as it is a symbol. The sixth mass extinction, that's a scientific reality. It's happening now. The clock warns of a future we might create, but the extinction crisis is the present we've already made. So the question isn't just about how much time is on the clock, it's about what we're going to choose to do with the time we have left.
So